Oh, hello. I'm actually live. How about that, eh? Quite amazing. Never been live before. And I have 0. Oh, I've got 1 viewer. That's all at the moment. So, concurrent viewers. Right, this is all about my studio, how I've set it up. I built it on Friday. And I hope you can all hear me. If you can, say a chat. Say something in the chat. Oh, the person's gone. I really frightened you there, didn't I? So this is just to get me started to learn how to basically do a live stream. I've never done a live stream before, so I'm going to give it a go and see how it goes. This is my new studio, and in here I have varying things. I'm going to move to OBS because it's quite distracting. That's better. I can see myself moving there. Okay, so here we have the name of my company being MadSot. MadSot is an AI business that I run. It's a conglomerate of AI people in there, and we mess around playing with AI and all of that. So I decided to build a studio which will actually enable me to have both, somebody talking to me and vice versa. As I've never spoken on a live stream, this is actually all new to me. Obviously, I've got to look at the camera and see if anybody wants to join. So, the idea of this channel is that we'll be actually interviewing many people within the business realm, and that mainly probably via, the Zoom or the likes of that. If they come into the studio, even better. The studio it's quite small. I wanted to create something that was fun, but also on a budget. There's nothing like working on a budget, is there? Always worth working on a budget. At the moment I've got 3 cameras working here, and 3 cameras are, I've got a Lumix GH4, I've got a Sony ZV-1F, and I've got a little tiny SE Osbot. I'm trying the SE Osbot because I think it's quite fun, and it doesn't actually require much. It's quite good quality. I can show you just the Osbot on its own. So we put the Osbot on. Let's turn this camera off, and oops, quite big there. Go on, zoom down. Wow, that's really big. We don't want that. That's too. Let's bring it right down. Okay, we can see. Let's just go upper body. There we go. Now we can see the quality is actually quite good for broadcasting. Now that's sitting on top of my camera. So my key camera, and which is actually an old camera. It's an old Lumix GH4. So that's sitting on top for the moment. And then, as I said, I've got the Sony ZV, what's it called? ZV-1F. And I can just switch to that one at the moment. So if I put my capture device on, why is it not showing? Okay, what am I doing here? There's this one. There we go. That's the Sony ZV-1. Now, this is quite a budget-friendly setup. Oh, that's got a lot of flicker there, isn't it? So this is the main camera. I spilled my coffee there. And then, as I said, we have the Osbot there, which is up there. Now, the thing I like about the Osbot, it does move around with you, usually. There we go. and it gives you an idea, so you can actually see the studio in itself, and there's a second chair. So if I've actually got a guest on the podcast, I can have a camera aiming on them and say, for example, they could be here, sitting down here, and the camera will actually be focused on them, and then have another camera here, which could actually quite easily be the main camera on myself or whoever's actually talking on the main thing. Now, I have a couple of audios. Now, at the moment, you're listening to my Fifine, and this is a really nice microphone. It's extremely cheap, at about £70, which is nothing for the quality it gives, and it has both XLR and USB. At the moment, we're plugged in on USB. You can see a better look. There it is. I've got a white cable, but generally use a black cable. I just picked up any old cable. And then I'm using, to switch through the cameras, I'm using the GoStream M2. Again, this is a budget. So OC GoStream M2 is £135. And that works quite nicely, flipping through the cameras. And it only does 2 cameras. And I can just go boom, 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 which is nice. And I can split screen if need be. I'm not quite happy with the quality on the ZV-1. I bought a couple of those and lent one to a friend. And we'll go back to 1. I think that's a better option, to stay on 1. But it gives you an idea of, what we're actually playing around with. Everything that I've made in here, the whole studio, actually build of the studio, cost me £135. Yes, these beautiful wooden panels, including the LED lights saying Mad Sot, the chimpanzee, that was actually a little bit more expensive. That was adding £35 on top of the 135, so say around 170 quid. So we've got the wood effect. Now this took me ages to do. What I initially did was I actually went on to AI and I said I wanted a studio and I want it to be warm, inviting and all of that. This is how it came up, and it built this. And I thought, okay, I like the wood effect, I like the velvet curtains. The brick effect I wasn't too fussed about, and I thought, okay, let's create this effect but using wood. And so I've done that. I can turn that off, and you see that's its rendition of me. That's what it thinks I look like. Thank you, AI. I do wear bright shirts, mind you. I don't mind wearing bright shirts. And this is obviously a guest. Or maybe it thinks this is me. I do like wearing hats as well. Who knows? So we started, well, I say me. So I started in AI. I gave it a prompt of what I wanted. And that's what it came up with. And so then I got this. And it's probably better if I go to the other camera and you can see a wider view. And you see I've put along this wall the wood panels, and I've got to work out that back. And at the back I've got the wood patterns with obviously my Mad Sot LED light and the red curtains here. We can actually, if we turn that off, and you can see better the red curtains. Now the studio has carpet at the bottom to give it some sort of stability and quietness, keep it quiet. I think it's a very important thing to keep it quiet. And see, I'm looking at my screen at the moment. I'm not actually looking at you, so I should possibly look at yourselves. And then I thought, I'll put some shelving up. So camera. So I put some shelving up with a couple of books. And because it's wood, I have this little fairy thing there to give it a feeling of a hunting lodge. And at the back I've got some plants. Yep, these little things. Lovely organic plastic plants. Those there. A couple of little lights down here and 2 key lights along there. And you can just see, just to add a highlight, these small lights in orange, just to add a highlight. Now the bigger 2 key lights on either side, they're actually set up at a temperature of 3,300 instead of the standard 5,600. Because I wanted something slightly warmer on the skin. If you go natural light, it becomes quite, bright and pale. So I just wanted a slightly warmer colour because the studio is warm. And I think that's absolutely key to sort of do that. Now, if I've got any guests coming on to the studio, I actually have these microphones here. And that microphone is a Fulham X5. And inside there, you have 2 mics, that's a sort of receiver, and so there's one, and there's a receiver down there, and that will go through, and so each person can actually use those. I've got it plugged in so you can hear how it sounds, and we're going to turn off that one, so we'll turn that off, and now we're utilising the Fulham X5. I think it's actually a really good microphone, and it's at £80. I think it's absolutely blinding. And supposedly it's got a little blue light in there that purifies any sort of spittle, and it comes with, a little dead cat, if you want to put a small dead cat on there. I have no idea where to place those. Now, if I'm using my mobile phone to do a recording for the likes of Insta or TikTok, that's when I use these, because I just plug them straight into my actual phone. And that's a really simple sort of setup. Now, let me turn the Oz button, let's put the Go Stream back on, and we'll go to the main camera. So, how did it cost me 170 quid to actually build this? Well, I used that Chinese company out there, which you'll be amazed at. When I priced up all the wood and everything, and I thought, oh my God, that's going to cost quite a lot of money. I don't obviously have many followers on YouTube, so I thought, well, I don't really want to spend too much money. I've got the space, but I want to keep the costs down. And I thought, no, I'll give it a go. I will buy Wood Effect wallpaper. Yep, I've got it here. This here is Wood Effects wallpaper, and as you can see, it's actually quite good. It's £7.50 a sheet. I think that's an absolute bargain. I needed 4 of those, so for all this Wood Effect was actually 30 quid. Who could go wrong there? I was absolutely amazed at how brilliant it looks. It looks really good, and I think with the lights going up and everything, it's quite fetching. Now, why is this? Does this fill out? Let's raise that a bit more. That's better. Now, I also have a purple light there, so you see a little glimpse of the purple coming in, which is quite just subtle, really, I suppose you could say. You'll see more of it when I switch that off, and you can see more going on there. And that's basically aimed at the shelf. Move across, come on, tiny. You see, I like the tiny SE. But it's only a 1080p one, and that's why it's the cheapest. The SE versions are cheaper than the 4K. And I think, you know, this quality here is pretty damn good. If you think on the camera, so I'm going back to GoStream, this here is a 4K Sony camera. And I don't know whether it's as good as the Tiny SE. It's okay. It's quite good quality. Let's see if it's got right, let's use the aircon thing. It focuses okay. But now, oh, that's great. No, it won't focus at all. Come on, thank you. It's very slow for a vlogging camera. It's specifically designed to be a vlogging camera. It's a really nice size. As I said, I actually have two. And I gave one to a friend who's starting up and making a sort of short, I don't know, what do you call them, B-roll for companies around the town. And she's been using it. She's been making some fabulous stuff out of it. But it is focused on being a vlogging camera. And I thought I'd give it a go. You know, they're not cheap at £500 each. I wouldn't classify them as cheap. But then when you talk about spending thousands on some of the cameras that the key YouTubers utilize, then it's an absolute bargain. But then for obviously the main camera, as I said, it's a really old camera. It is 4K, but I wouldn't classify it as top-notch quality as you know, the Sonys out there, the A7s and all of that sort of stuff. But for what it does, I'm absolutely happy with it. At the moment, my setup is just on the desk. I would move them off the desk and actually place them, you know, on bigger tripods. But just for this example now, for going live, I'm just obviously showing it. I've just set it up quickly to show how it's all working nicely. So it's a good little setup. Let's try and move. Now the Osbot allows a lot of sort of features. So we're going to turn that off again. And you will see, let's go to the Osbot, and I'm going to turn off the tracking. So turn the tracking off, and I want to zoom down. Oops, didn't like that, did it? Get off, thank you. Right, I'm going to zoom down. It's quite slow, isn't it? Right, this is it. This is all what the OC GoStreamer is. It's just a couple of buttons on there. So it's for two cameras, and so you've got two HDMI's out. You've got a in and one HDMI out. So if you've got a monitor, I do have a monitor. I have a little sort of small monitor here that I can plug in, and I will give that a go, and I can actually have that on the desk. It's good if I am actually recording someone, and then I can use this just to monitor and see. It's better than looking at the camera screens and the laptop and all of that. This is quite good. It's not very expensive. It's just from Amazon. Okay, and as I said, this here enables me to just switch from channel to channel or camera to camera, and then I would use the GoStream if I want to do picture in picture and all of that kind of stuff. So let's put the GoStream back on. As I said, you can go, there you go. Now you have the two cameras showing. We've got it side by side. We can actually flip them around if need be. Keep on flipping them. It'll go flipping mad if we did that. And same there. Now I'm using OBS as my key. So let's turn that off now. Let's just stick to one. I'm using OBS as my streaming tool, and that was quite simple to sort of push that through and get it working. So maybe I should turn the Fulham off and put the microphone back on. See, I left this on because if I stand up and I'm using the tiny OBS-bot, then this would obviously pick up better from over there in the corner than the main microphone. But I wanted to show, the Fifine microphone because I think it's really good quality. And on my podcasts, this is my go-to, even though I've got hundreds of microphones and I've got the Rode Caster Pro and all of that. But you don't always need the most expensive. And this is the point. I was trying out this little OBS-bot. And this is the Meet SE. Again, this one is 67. It has the same sensor as the tiny one, and its quality is really quite good. It does have minor tracking, so it will follow just slightly, but it is fixed, whereas the OBS-bot one is not fixed. It's totally on a thingy-bob, whatever it's called. Can't remember what it's called right now. So I'll be sitting down later and going, oh, I know what it's called, and well, I don't. But I highly recommend that. This is what I've recommended to a client. I turned around to them and said, right, get yourself a little OBS-bot, Fifine microphone, and you're set. You're really set. And he's purchased it. He's very happy with it. I generally just bought them to play around with. I like playing around with things, especially when it's tech. And it's so small. Look at it. It's absolutely tiny. Fit it in your hand. No one can see it. I really like it. It just takes a USB-C at the back straight into your computer. Its software is absolutely brilliant. You can control it quite well. And I really like that. So all in all, you could go for, say, if you went for a small OBS-bot Meet 2 at 67, and then say the Fifine microphone at 70 quid, then you're talking, around £147 to have a nice little setup. Then get yourself some of this wallpaper, your wooden effect wallpaper, and you've got it sorted. It's quite, you'll find it's quite fun to put it all together. The cabling that I've had to do here is absolutely mad. It needs tidying up, but you can see, the potential of where you can actually take it without obviously having to spend a budget. You see these YouTubers, I spent 10 million, 10,000 and all of that on my studio. Well, is it really necessary to spend that sort of money? I don't think so. I think you can just literally just have a play and enjoy what you're doing with your equipment and just talk to the camera. As I said, this is the first time I've gone live on YouTube, and but not getting any responses or anything like that. I don't even think anybody's. Let's see. Yep. And if you are listening, put something in the chat. I hope I am actually live. Now, does it allow me to put anything in the chat? No, it doesn't allow me to put in there. Okay. Oh, there we go. Top fans. There we go. Right, well, the question is, will I actually put this on my YouTube channel? I don't know. It gives you an idea. Maybe I should do another one, which again goes through absolutely everything again. As I said, this is a test on the equipment that I'm using, seeing how it works when I go live, and then I'm just rabbiting on, not really just natter. I'm intending on, I've got another section of the studio which is an absolute mess, and it's behind the curtain, so it's behind this side. I'm not using the Osbot now, so maybe I should put the Osbot back on. So it's behind. Here we go. Come on. Why is it not? Oh, of course I switched the damn thing off. Right, so let me put this back on. Upper body. Boom. I do like that. So here, behind this curtain, I have another studio space. You can just see it's only small. At the moment it's got a backdrop on there, which I'm intending on doing that up as well. I'm going to create 2 specific zones. This one I'll do artwork for, and make it more slightly homely, less like it is now. You know, I think it's still quite homely. Would you not say? And in my other room, I also have a little setup for solo casting. I do use. I've got sound blockers and all of that. At the moment, they're all packed down there. I will be putting them up onto the ceiling just to stop any form of the echo. At the moment, I've got the aircon on because it's quite chilly. But generally, when I do filming, the aircon stays off. I think it's quite, important to have it switch off. But I'm gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna try and do more lives. If you're not watching this one, if you're watching it after the event has finished, by all means put some comments and do follow and maybe share, and put some comments if you have any questions on what I actually do. Why do I have a studio? Is it a vanity project? No, it's something I decided this year that I need to sort of move forward with my life and do something different. I'm going to put the Ghost Stream back on. There we go. And actually do something different. And I thought about it and thought, right, oops, I just knocked my microphone. And I thought about it and thought, okay, I actually, believe it or not, I teach people to do storytelling and how to sort of speak in public, all of that. It's interesting because when you're actually standing on stage and you're talking to public, it's an entirely different realm, because you can see the faces and you can react to how the faces are actually working. But when you're talking to a camera, that's really different, because you can't actually see the faces, you see a lens. So I've got to get over that hurdle myself to feel more comfortable talking to the camera and to feel as if I'm talking to an audience without the motion of walking around. When you're on a stage talking, goal setting, and all of that, then you kind of want to walk around. Maybe that's what I should do. Let's change the microphone. Let's go. There we go. We're going to double check this microphone on. And here, maybe I would find it a lot more easier if I walk around, stand up, and actually show things and talk about things that I find more sort of interesting, like goal setting. Actually, it's interesting because I'm now standing up and I feel more comfortable because I can have a little bit of motion, and a bit of motion actually helps. Maybe my diaphragm is open, so I'm feeling more confident to actually talk to the camera. So maybe that's how I should do my videos, standing up all the time. So I've made all of this my little stage to stand up and talk to everybody. But what I'm saying is, you know, I've got to try and do things. Actually, this is supposed to have, let's zoom in. Does it do that? Oh, let's zoom out. Let's zoom in. There we go. No, that's a really small zoom, isn't it? No, zoom in. Zoom in. Oh, did it a little bit. Oh, it's gone back out. Maybe I've got to play around with the actual Ozbot center. It's got so many things on there. You can put makeup and all sorts of stuff on there. I did have some fun playing around on it. So anyway, what do you think of my £135 studio? You know, there's things such as, you know, the pictures and all of that. They cost a little bit, and they're just, I think they're from IKEA. I bought them years ago. They were sitting around, and I decided, oh, I'm just going to stick those up for now. But I want to do some art pieces on there. I'll put a picture in here when I get around to it. We can't, you know, dedicate our whole life on just doing this studio, but I think, you know, for the purpose of working, you know, for one day, sticking it all up, I think that was incredibly beneficial. I feel comfortable in here. It feels as if it's now part of me, which I like. It's only small. It's obviously, you know, just for 2 people. I suppose you could get more than 2 in here if you wanted to, especially with wide angle cameras. That makes it easier. So anyway, that's it. If you have any questions, do jot them down. I'm quite happy to answer them. Now, looking at the YouTube statistics, I can see that it's just me. Have I done something? Oh, stream status is excellent. It's not currently receiving data for this stream. Now, I wonder, did I actually? Let's maybe test it. Let's see if I go. I am going onto. I'm going to go to as a different person. So, who am I on as? Switch count. I'm going to go on my MadSot account. And let's see. Oh, yep, I can see. I'm there. Right, I don't want any volume on there. And it'd be really nice if I, oh, there we go. It now shows that I'm on there. Well done. Yep, and I can see one specific message. It's interesting to see the actual video working. And the quality is actually better than what I see on my computer, which is, I think, beneficial. So I can see there's a delay. That's interesting. I thought when live is live, it goes live, but no, it's streaming, so it takes a little bit longer. Okay, so now I've been on for half an hour. I think that's absolutely fine for the moment. As I said, any questions, do feel free to ask. Oops. And I keep unlocking this. I do have arms. I should maybe put the arms on there or use a different sort of microphone. You know, maybe. Okay, remember, if you liked, subscribe, and speak to you later. Bye bye now.